Picture yourself standing on a lonely island in the middle of the Atlantic. The wind howls against towering cliffs. Waves crash below. You climb the steps to a lighthouse expecting to find 3 men, but instead, you find dinner untouched, a clock stopped, and not a single soul in sight. There are places in this world so isolated that, if something terrible happened, nobody would know for days. Tonight's story takes us to one of those places. Imagine standing on a tiny rocky island in the North Atlantic. The wind screams across towering cliffs. The sea pounds the rocks below. The nearest town is miles away. Now imagine arriving there to relieve 3 lighthouse keepers, only to discover the lighthouse is empty, the lamps are still burning, the beds are untouched, a meal appears to have been interrupted, and the 3 men have vanished. No bodies, no witnesses, no clear explanation. This is the true mystery of the Flannan Isles Lighthouse. The year was 1900. About 20 miles off the west coast of Scotland lies a small group of rocky islands known as the Flannan Isles. These islands are barren, windswept, and almost completely uninhabited. To help guide ships through dangerous waters, a lighthouse had recently been built on the largest island. Eilean Mòr life there was difficult. 3 lighthouse keepers worked at a time while another remained on the mainland waiting for his next rotation. Their days were predictable. Maintain the light, record the weather, keep the equipment working, wait for the next relief ship. Nothing more, nothing less. Until December of 1900. The first sign that something was wrong came from passing ships. Several. Captains noticed the lighthouse wasn't operating as expected during bad weather, but storms made it impossible to investigate immediately. Days later, on December 26th, the relief vessel finally reached the island. The replacement keeper expected to be greeted by his co-workers. Instead, silence. No one was waiting at the dock. That alone was unusual. Lighthouse keepers always met arriving boats. As the relief keeper climbed the steep path toward the lighthouse, everything felt wrong. The main gate was closed. The door was unlocked. Inside, the beds had been slept in. The kitchen looked orderly. A meal was not found laid out on the table, despite later stories often claiming that dinner had been left unfinished. One chair appeared to have been moved. The clock had stopped. Most importantly, there wasn't a single person inside. The entire island was searched. Every building, every cliff, every path. Nothing. The 3 men, James Ducat, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur, were gone. Not a trace remained. Investigators immediately began looking for clues. They discovered signs of severe storm damage on the western side of the island. Equipment had been torn from its storage area. Heavy boxes had been displaced. Iron railings were bent. These were not ordinary winter winds. Something incredibly powerful had struck the island. The official investigation concluded that the men likely went outside during dangerous weather to secure equipment. While near the cliffs, an enormous wave probably swept them into the sea. The Atlantic waters surrounding the Flannan Isles are unforgiving. Survival would have been nearly impossible. No bodies were ever recovered. While tragic, this explanation fits much of the physical evidence found on the island. But over the years, the mystery grew. As newspapers retold the story, new details began appearing. Stories claimed meals were left on the table, that one chair was mysteriously overturned, that weather logs described terrifying supernatural storms. Some even claimed the keepers wrote about strange voices calling their names. These details helped create one of history's most famous maritime mysteries. The problem? Many of them cannot be verified from the surviving official records. Some appear to have been added years later through retellings and fictionalized accounts. That hasn't stopped people from proposing theories. Some believe a rogue wave unexpectedly crashed over the cliffs. Others wonder if one keeper fell while working and the others rushed to help. Some suggest an accident during the storm claimed all 3 lives. And of course, there are far more unusual ideas. Over the decades, people have blamed everything from sea monsters, to ghosts, to secret military experiments, to visitors from another world. None of those theories are supported by credible evidence, but they continue to capture imaginations because of one simple fact. No one witnessed what happened. Perhaps the most haunting part of this story isn't how the men disappeared. It's where. Imagine spending weeks on an isolated island, no neighbors, no nearby ships, just endless ocean, towering cliffs, and the constant roar of the Atlantic. If disaster struck, help wasn't coming anytime soon. More than a century later, the lighthouse still stands. The Flannan Isles remain remote. Visitors describe the island as breathtaking, but also strangely unsettling. Whether that's because of the isolation or because everyone knows the story is impossible to say. So, what really happened? The official explanation, a tragic accident caused by extreme weather, is widely regarded by historians as the most likely answer. Yet because no one witnessed the final moments of the three keepers, some uncertainty will probably always remain. And maybe that's why this story continues to fascinate people more than 125 years later. 3 men, 1 isolated lighthouse, 1 winter storm, and a mystery that still echoes across the North Atlantic. What do you think happened on Eilean Mòr? Do you think the official explanation tells the whole story, or do you believe there are still unanswered questions? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy true mysteries, strange disappearances, and real stories that history still can't fully explain, subscribe to Did You Know Daily Minute, because every fire has another story, and we'll be back with another one soon.